Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite Final Fantasy YouTuber Ravage, back here again today with another non-Final Fantasy video. We are back here again with something I haven't done in a very long time. I haven't done a lot of YouTube in a very long time. Working 10-hour shifts is tough. But I'm still here, I'm still trying to deliver to y'all, as long as y'all keep coming up and engaging with me. Today is another Star Wars discussion video backed by popular demand of a very good friend of mine who loves my Star Wars video. So anytime y'all see me upload a Star Wars video, it's for this guy. So I'm pretty bad at thinking of discussion topics when it comes to Star Wars, especially discussion topics that nobody's spoken of yet. Because it's a gigantic IP, right? So everybody's talked about everything under the sun for Star Wars. But this thing that I'm going to talk about today it has been talked about a ton across media, but I've never seen this aspect of it get talked about, which is crazy because it's one of the most popular scenes in the entire franchise. Excuse me. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is the beautiful storytelling through choreography in the Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul saga. Now, I already said that, and you guys are already thinking, oh, but Sam Witwer did a breakdown of the choreography, right? Everything that Obi-Wan did was a chess piece, where he baited Darth Maul into giving him the checkmate early on in the fight. Yes, and that gets talked about a lot. And Star Wars is also a series that, fans have definitely noticed a lot of the storytelling through choreography. Like the maneuver that Anakin used to cut off Count Dooku's hands. He tries to use that exact same maneuver in the choreography during his fight with Obi-Wan on Mustafar. And it doesn't work. People notice that. But something nobody noticed was what Obi-Wan did to Darth Maul on Tatooine is kind of reminiscent of not only, of course, what he did to Qui-Gon, which is how he set up the checkmate, but it's also reminiscent of something he did to Darth Maul on Naboo. And I wanted to talk about that here, because I noticed it when I was watching The Phantom Menace, and then I went and rewatched the fight scene between him and Darth Maul, if you could call it a fight, in Rebels. And, yeah, I noticed this. And so I had to make a video about it because I checked and I can't find anybody talking about this anywhere. So enough fluff, enough of me babbling about, oh guys, I'm building this up. Let's get right into it. So, what it is Obi-Wan cuts his saber staff in half. He cuts straight through it and cleaves into Darth Maul himself, ending Darth Maul's life. But he did almost the same thing on Naboo, right? If we look at this clip here, Obi-Wan cuts Darth Maul's saber staff in half the same way. But look at their positioning, everything like that. Their positioning, their distance, the setup, Obi-Wan physically could not do that in this scenario, and some of it has to do with the fact that Obi-Wan hung back. Obi-Wan gave Darth Maul a lot of ground, especially right here where they, step away from each other after that initial clash. And in this fight here on Tatooine, again, if you could call it a fight, he does the same thing, but this time he just cuts through the lightsaber. He does not give Darth Maul any ground. He does not back away. He keeps his space. And he baits Darth Maul in close enough so the maneuver will work. And all I really think this is this is a mark to show us just how far Obi-Wan has come as a fighter over all the years that we've known and loved him. By this point, Ben Kenobi is a true bona fide blade master. Because when he fought Darth Maul as a Padawan on Naboo, He gave Darth Maul space. He surrendered ground. He made all of these mistakes that, like, if you're a trained fighter, you know not to do. Unless absolutely necessary. And by this point, Obi-Wan is not only very experienced as a warrior, he's very experienced fighting Darth Maul. And I think this maneuver that he pulls perfectly encapsulates that. On Naboo, he failed to end the fight where he cut Maul's saber in half because he had surrendered far too much ground to Maul. The spacing was wrong. But when Maul rushes him, aggressively just coming after him, in Rebels, Kenobi surrenders no ground. He's confident. He's experienced. He is skilled. He knows Darth Maul's blade is not going to pass his defenses. He does not have to surrender any space. And that gives him the space that he needs to cut through the saber and also Darth Maul this time around. I don't know, I just looked at that and I thought it was a magnificent way to show us how far Obi-Wan had come as a fighter, not only mentally, because Sam Witwer covered the mental aspect, but also physically. And I guess in terms of confidence, it's also mental. But yeah, Obi-Wan's nowhere near as clumsy. He's nowhere near as scared when he's fighting. You know, he's not going to surrender ground. He's not worried about the lightsabers hitting him anymore. You know, he's not going, shit, I have to back up and reposition. He's like, no, my position here is fine. He is a true bona fide master, and it just shows magnificent growth from The Phantom Menace all the way up to Rebels. And it also, in turn, shows that Maul hasn't grown much at all. Maul is still relying on the exact same old tricks he was relying on. What is it at this point? Like 30 years prior? 30 years ago, Maul tried to pull these same tricks, and he is still trying to pull them. Maul is stuck in the glory of the old days. Maul has not learned from any of his mistakes. Maul has been his own worst enemy in terms of growth as a fighter. While Obi-Wan has constantly improved, constantly learned from his mistakes, and no longer relies on the same old tricks he was relying on at Naboo. And I just thought that was absolutely magnificent, and I was kind of astounded that nobody even worked that into their discussions about this fight that I'd seen before. So I felt like I needed to throw my hat in the ring and throw that out there. Also, as a quick aside, before I let you guys go, excuse me, I was sick over Christmas, is that even if Obi-Wan had not face-dunked Maul with the setup that he gave him, you know, baited him into using the maneuver he used against Qui-Gon, he still would have absolutely face-dunked Maul. It would not have been a fight. I've seen the videos that are like, Darth Maul went down quickly, not easily. By this point in the series, Obi-Wan is so far beyond where he or Darth Maul were in The Phantom Menace. And Darth Maul is not much stronger than he was during the events of The Phantom Menace here. He has no showings to suggest that. Obi-Wan would have smoked Maul regardless. Like, that would not have been a fight. Maul went down easily regardless of how you look at it. That's my 2 cents on that one. I don't know. Bothers me seeing that. Anyway, that's about it for this episode. But I've been Ravage, your favorite Final Fantasy YouTuber that you never heard of. And this has been my next Star Wars discussion video. And remember, the Force will be with you. Always.